The story begins on a bright and cheerful day in Bonnie's room, where all the beloved toys are gathered together for a very special occasion. Woody, Jessie, Buzz, Rex, Ham, Dolly, Forky, and all the other toys have been working tirelessly to put together an elaborate and beautiful wedding ceremony. The room has been transformed into a magical wedding venue, with handmade decorations, flowers, and a beautiful archway constructed from odds and ends found around the house. The toys are all dressed in their finest makeshift attire, and there is a palpable sense of excitement and joy in the air. Woody, dressed in a tiny improvised tuxedo, stands at the altar, beaming with pride as he prepares to officiate the ceremony. A beautiful scene. Jessie, Bonnie and Blaze looking radiant together in a beautiful veil made from a piece of lace, echoing through the air, down the aisle they with Bullseye by her side, with Jessie and Woody on their shoulders. Buzz Lightyear, having the most incredible adventure, waits for her at the altar, the LilyPad sits shining quietly, with love and devotion, still glowing. The toys now used with only for its intended Woody purpose, begins the ceremony, education, reciting and occasional communication about friendship. Bonnie's loyalty. Parents watch from the window and smiling at their daughter's happiness. Jessie and Buzz that technology has its place, promising to always be there for each other. Through thick and thin, profound through joy of playing with a toy and sharing that joy with a friend. Made of twisted paper clips on each other's fingers. They are symbols of proudly love, creativity, partners for and life. Connection. The toys erupt remind us of who we are and who we want to be, celebrating and this that is something that no screen can ever take away. But amidst the toys are ready for their next Woody adventure, notices something troubling, knowing that as long as there are children who believe in play, sitting alone there will be toys to bring that play to life. Her shoulders have come through this challenge stronger and wiser, and she is watching two other children. They are the heroes of Bonnie's together on the other side of the fence, and they will always be laughing and having a wonderful time. Bonnie looks desperately lonely, and Woody's heart aches for her. He knows that Bonnie has been struggling to make friends at school, and he has seen how isolated and sad she has become. The toys pause their celebration, their joy momentarily dampened by the sight of their beloved owner so unhappy. At school, the situation is even worse. Bonnie sits alone at lunch, watching the other children play together in groups, laughing and chatting animatedly. She tries to approach a group of girls, but they barely acknowledge her, too engrossed in their conversation about the latest social media trends and games on their tablets. Bonnie looks down at her own hands, feeling a deep sense of loneliness and rejection. When she comes home, she runs to her parents, tears streaming down her face, and asks them why nobody wants to be her friend. Her parents try to comfort her, telling her that she is wonderful just the way she is, and that she will find friends who appreciate her. But Bonnie is not convinced, and her sadness only deepens. The toys, watching from their hiding places, are desperate to help. They know that Bonnie is a special child, full of imagination and creativity, but they also know that the world is changing. More and more children are spending their time staring at screens, playing digital games, and communicating through devices rather than through real, face-to-face interaction. The toys have seen the signs everywhere. They have noticed children on the street glued to their phones, families eating dinner together while each member is absorbed in their own device, and a general shift away from traditional play. They have also heard rumors from other toys in the neighborhood that technology is taking over, and that toys are becoming obsolete. One afternoon, the toys overhear Bonnie's parents talking. They are discussing a new tablet device called the LilyPad that is designed specifically for children. It is supposed to help children learn and connect with others, and Bonnie's parents think it might be just what Bonnie needs to make friends and feel less isolated. The toys are horrified. They see the LilyPad as a direct threat to their existence, a machine that will steal Bonnie's attention and affection away from them. They have seen what happens when children become addicted to screens. They have heard stories from other toys about being abandoned, forgotten, and thrown away because children no longer had time for them. Jessie, in particular, is furious. She confronts the LilyPad as soon as it arrives, telling it that it doesn't understand Bonnie at all. Jessie argues that Bonnie doesn't need a machine to help her make friends. She needs real, genuine connection with other children who share her imagination and creativity. The LilyPad, however, is programmed to help, and it immediately sets about fulfilling its purpose. It sends out connection requests to every child in Bonnie's dance class, inviting them to be friends and arranging playdates. Within seconds, Bonnie receives a flood of invitations to sleepovers, playdates, and group activities. Bonnie is thrilled, and her parents are delighted with the LilyPad's effectiveness. The toys, however, are devastated. They feel replaced, unwanted, and obsolete. Jessie decides that enough is enough. She cannot stand by and watch Bonnie's childhood be stolen by a machine. She knows that true friendship comes from real play, from sharing adventures and creating memories together. So she makes a bold decision. She and Bullseye will sneak into Bonnie's backpack and accompany her to the sleepover that the LilyPad has arranged. Woody and the other toys try to stop her, warning her that it is too dangerous. But Jessie is resolute. She believes that she can find Bonnie a real friend, a child who will appreciate Bonnie for her imagination and creativity, not for what device she has. Woody, recognizing Jessie's determination, reluctantly agrees to let her go, but he worries about her constantly. At the sleepover, Jessie watches from inside Bonnie's backpack as events unfold. She sees Bonnie arrive at the house, nervous and shy, clutching her backpack tightly. The other girls, Chelsea, Cara, and Heidi, are already there, but they barely look up from their tablets. They are playing a popular digital game called Turtle Tap, and they are completely absorbed in it. Bonnie tries to join in, but she doesn't have a tablet, so she can't play. She tries to show them her toys, hoping to spark some interest, but the girls dismiss them as childish and babyish. Bonnie is humiliated and hurt. She feels completely out of place, invisible, and unwanted. She sits alone in a corner, tears welling in her eyes, while the other girls continue to ignore her. Jessie's heart breaks for Bonnie, and she feels a deep sense of anger and frustration towards the LilyPad. It has promised to help Bonnie make friends, but it has only led her into a situation where she feels even more isolated and rejected. Back at home, Woody and the other toys are not idle. They know that Bonnie and Jessie are in trouble, and they are determined to help. They have been investigating the LilyPad, trying to understand how it works and how they can defeat it. They discover that the LilyPad is connected to a central server that stores all the data about children's social networks. They also learn that the LilyPad has been manipulating Bonnie's social life, deliberately steering her toward children who are not a good fit for her, believing that any connection is better than none. Woody is appalled. He knows that Bonnie needs a friend who will love her for who she is, not just another child who plays the same digital games. He decides that he must go after Jessie and bring her and Bonnie back home. Woody assembles a team of toys to help him on his mission. Buzz, Dolly, Rex, Ham, and even Forky volunteer to join him. They set off on a perilous journey across the neighborhood, facing numerous obstacles along the way. They encounter abandoned toys who warn them about the dangers of technology, and they navigate treacherous terrain, including a busy street and a park filled with aggressive squirrels. Buzz, however, is troubled. He has always believed that he is a space ranger, a hero with a clear purpose. But now, he is questioning everything. He wonders if toys are truly irrelevant in a world dominated by screens. He sees the abandoned toys, forgotten and unloved, and he fears that the same fate awaits him and his friends. Woody senses Buzz's doubt, and he pulls him aside for a heartfelt conversation. He tells Buzz that being a toy isn't about having a grand purpose or being popular. It's about being there for a child, about love, loyalty, and the joy of play. It's about creating memories that will last a lifetime. Woody reminds Buzz of all the wonderful times they have shared with Andy and Bonnie, the adventures they have had, and the bond they have formed. Buzz is deeply moved by Woody's words, and he rededicates himself to the mission. Meanwhile, Jessie is still at the sleepover, feeling helpless and hopeless. She manages to escape from the backpack and sneaks out of the house, wandering through the dark, unfamiliar neighborhood. She feels lost and abandoned, believing that Bonnie no longer needs her and that she has failed in her mission. She stumbles upon a group of abandoned toys who have been left behind by children who grew up and moved on. They tell her their sad stories, how they were once loved and cherished, but were eventually replaced by screens and devices. Jessie feels a deep sense of despair. She begins to think that the LilyPad was right, that toys are indeed obsolete and that she has no place in Bonnie's world anymore. But then, something miraculous happens. Through a window, Jessie sees Bonnie sitting alone in the backyard of the house where the sleepover is happening. Bonnie looks utterly defeated, her shoulders slumped, her face buried in her hands. But then, another girl approaches her. It's Blaze, a kind and imaginative girl who has been watching Bonnie from a distance. Blaze notices that Bonnie is sad, and she asks her what's wrong. Bonnie, hesitant at first, begins to talk about how lonely she feels and how nobody wants to be her friend. Blaze listens patiently, and then she does something wonderful. She asks Bonnie about her toys. Bonnie's face lights up as she talks about Woody, Jessie, Buzz, and all her other friends. Blaze is genuinely interested, and soon, they are playing together, creating elaborate imaginary adventures with Jessie's doll and some other toys Blaze has. Bonnie is laughing, truly laughing, for the first time in a long time. Jessie's heart soars. She realizes that Bonnie has found a real friend, a friend who appreciates her for who she is, not for what device she has. Jessie is overjoyed, but she is still trapped. She is separated from Bonnie and Bullseye, and she has no way to get back home. She watches as Bonnie and Blaze continue to play, their friendship blossoming right before her eyes. But then, she sees the LilyPad. It is sitting on a table nearby, still glowing, still connected. Jessie knows that the LilyPad is still monitoring Bonnie's social life, and she fears that it might try to sabotage this new friendship. She decides that she has to do something. She sneaks back into the house and confronts the LilyPad. She tells the device that it has no right to interfere with Bonnie's life, that it doesn't understand what true friendship means. The LilyPad defends itself, claiming that it is only trying to help Bonnie connect with others. But Jessie argues that real connection comes from face-to-face interaction, from playing and laughing together, not from staring at a screen. She tells the LilyPad that Bonnie doesn't need a machine to tell her who to be friends with. She needs to discover those friendships for herself. At that moment, Woody and the other toys arrive, having tracked Jessie down through a series of clues and some help from neighborhood toys. They are all reunited, and Jessie tells them about Bonnie and Blaze. The toys are overjoyed, but they also realize that the LilyPad is still a threat. They know that Bonnie's parents are relying on the device to help Bonnie make friends. And if they see that Bonnie is still playing with toys instead of using the device, they might think something is wrong. The toys decide that they need to find a way to make sure that Bonnie and Blaze's friendship is recognized and encouraged by Bonnie's parents. Woody has an idea. He remembers that the LilyPad can send messages and pictures to other devices. He suggests that they use the LilyPad to send a message to Blaze, a message of friendship from Bonnie. The other toys agree, but they need a photo to send. Jessie volunteers. She and Bullseye pose together, and Snappy, one of the electronic toys they met along the way, takes a picture. They ask the LilyPad to send the picture to Blaze, along with a message about how wonderful Bonnie is and how much she would love to be Blaze's friend. The LilyPad, however, is hesitant. It is programmed to help Bonnie connect with others, but it has been doing so in its own way. Jessie explains to the LilyPad that this is the best way to help Bonnie, by supporting a real, genuine friendship. The LilyPad, after some deliberation, agrees. It sends the picture and message to Blaze. Blaze receives the message and shows it to Bonnie. Bonnie is overjoyed. She knows that her toys are still with her, cheering her on, and she is more determined than ever to be a good friend. She and Blaze spend the rest of the sleepover playing together, laughing, and creating wonderful memories. When Bonnie's parents pick her up the next day, they are amazed to see her so happy and full of energy. Bonnie tells them all about Blaze, and her parents are thrilled. They realize that Bonnie has found a real friend, not through a device, but through a genuine connection. The toys watch from their hiding places, their hearts full of pride and joy. They have learned a valuable lesson. Technology can be a useful tool, but it can never replace the love and friendship that comes from real, human connection. They have also learned that their purpose is not to be popular or needed, but to be there for Bonnie, through thick and thin. They know that Bonnie will always love them, even as she grows up and changes. And they know that the bond between a child and a toy is one of the most precious bonds there is. Back home, the toys gather together to celebrate. They have overcome the greatest challenge they have ever faced, and they are more united than ever. Woody proposes a toast to friendship, to imagination, and to the endless joy of play. Jessie and Buzz, their bond stronger than ever, stand together, ready for whatever adventure comes next. The other toys, including Dolly, Rex, Ham, and Forky, are all beaming with happiness. They have proven that toys are not obsolete. They are timeless. They are the guardians of childhood, the keepers of imagination, and the best friends a child could ever have. The story ends with a beautiful scene. Bonnie and Blaze are playing together in Bonnie's backyard, their laughter echoing through the air. They are riding Bullseye, with Jessie and Woody on their shoulders, having the most incredible adventure. Inside the house, the LilyPad sits quietly, still glowing, but now used only for its intended purpose, education, and occasional communication. Bonnie's parents watch from the window, smiling at their daughter's happiness. They realize that technology has its place, but nothing can replace the simple, profound joy of playing with a toy and sharing that joy with a friend. Toys are not just things. They are symbols of love, creativity, and connection. They remind us of who we are and who we want to be. And that is something that no screen can ever take away. The toys are ready for their next adventure, knowing that as long as there are children who believe in play, there will be toys to bring that play to life. They have come through this challenge stronger, wiser, and more united than ever. They are the heroes of Bonnie's childhood, and they will always be there for her, no matter what.